How's my hair? What do you mean, where's my hair? I will have you know that back in the day. Oh, hey everybody, it's me, Bradford, your carnivore curmudgeon. And yeah, I guess I'm back. I have been off of YouTube for probably 6 or 7 months without posting anything, and wasn't necessarily purely intentional. But I did think that, especially for those of you who are kind enough to subscribe or who are considering subscribing to my YouTube channel, that I would explain the reason I haven't been on YouTube is kind of threefold. And number one is because I really needed to get some new videotaping equipment. Before I was using an iPad. Somebody else needs to use that iPad much more than I need to use it for YouTube. Plus, the older it gets, the less memory it has available for me to record things. The editing program was so simple I hated to give it up, but that's really what life brought. So that was one reason I had to do some research, and certainly there's a learning curve, especially when you do this, as a hobby, to make it worth posting something that somebody might actually care to watch. The second thing was I did go through some health issues in the past. If you have watched my channel, you know that I've struggled with my back. I've had back surgery. I've had some longer term effects due to some severe sciatica nerve pinches and blah, blah, blah. I'll skip all of that. I just went through some bouts of putting my back out last fall. And then that turned into recovery time, which turned into the holidays, which turned into another bout of the back. And actually twice since the holidays, the Christmas holidays. So that, that takes my priority when I need time to heal and then just get through the day with my actual job. So that was the second reason. The third reason is kind of the darker reason, and that is I found myself getting really sort of down on the carnivore community as it pertains to YouTube. Not the way of eating, not the health benefits that come with the carnivore or keto or ketovore or low carb way of eating. I think they're all terrific. I'm convinced that they help. My personal experience is that they've helped heal a lot of things. But the YouTube content, the things that I go to learn and to see other people's experiences, it seems so often it has turned into something just so wildly off to one end of the spectrum or the other. And I'll give you simple examples. Somebody saying, I don't need to brush my teeth. I'm a carnivore. I don't need to wash that cut or wash my hands. I'm a carnivore. That's just bizarre to me. To attribute something as simple as common sense cleanliness. I gotta admit, I'm not always sure if they're kidding or not, but sometimes it's just so far out there that I'm reaching for the remote and going, someone else, please. The other end of the spectrum is, of course, the carnivore police. And oh my goodness, if you dash to put some seasoning in your chili, then you're not carnivore, you're just eating junk and wasting our time. Okay, I get it. Some people are more inclined towards hardcore carnivore, if that's what you want to call it, than others. My opinion is live and let live for the most part, but for myself, I do start to draw the line at certain things, like the crazy talk, like the you're no good, dirty, rotten scoundrel if you put pepper on your steak. And then there's some things even in the middle where people who seem to have common sense, they just, gosh, I don't know. Some of them I feel sorry for because they post video after video after video of their failures. Now, some people say that helps encourage them because it shows their reality. And to me, that does not do that. I want to look at content mostly from champions, people who have succeeded, people who have figured out a way, people who have advice that can be helpful to others. That's my goal. What can I learn from someone that will then, in turn, at some point be helpful to others? Not to say that you can't learn from someone who is sharing a failure, but if that's the bulk of your content, then at some point I'm going to lose interest. Same thing with people who make well, probably a living off of posting YouTube videos on how to recreate the crap that we shouldn't have been eating in the first place that gave us all the health issues. And to me, that just, gosh, there's some things, that are so cool. And look, a nice clean mayonnaise that doesn't turn to a brick in the fridge, or, some way to make a steak that's different than another way to make a steak. But when I see content that is 15 different ingredients, that's going to cost you $100 to order off of Amazon in order to take all of these carnivore powders, mix them together into a frankenfood, and they magically come out, I always say, a banana split that tastes just like the real thing. I don't buy it. I don't want the time to invest in it. It's doesn't make sense financially. I have tried some of those things. Maybe for a special occasion it can, be a treat, but you understand what I'm talking about. I'm talking about people who that's all they do is content for that purpose. It's a little to me like saying to someone, I know you're a heroin addict, but look, this is not heroin. This is something else. It feels like heroin. You put it in a spoon and you melt it like heroin. You take a needle and you inject it between your toes like heroin, and you feel really good, but it's not heroin, so you're good to go. Maybe that's an overstatement, but perhaps some of you know what I mean as well. So that's just briefly why I have been not on YouTube for a while, but I've got the equipment now. I've got to justify paying for it. I've got some ideas I want to share with you. I'm going to share more of the things that we do that are maybe related to carnivore, but not necessarily just recipes, like camping and other lifestyle things. And there is a fourth reason that I have been off of YouTube, and that is because I have been spending much more of my time on a passion project that I'm not really ready to share with anybody at this point. It is not related to the carnivore way of eating, but it's just something in my life that I enjoy. So all that being said, I hope you'll tune in next time and see what is to come, and sure do appreciate you watching. Take care.